bien con mami. I love you. Me dejé eso del chocolate. My peoples, my peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. My peoples, we talking boxing. Y'all know how we do. First of all, start this thing off by saying happy Thursday to everybody tuning in. Another beautiful day out here in the Dominican Republic. Um, I'm about to have my breakfast, man. I'm hungry right now. It is boxing for breakfast, right? So if you having your breakfast, enjoy. Started the show a little bit later so I could go a little bit longer today and more people have the opportunity to enjoy it. I know it's super early for some of you guys. Uh, Salute, Toy Mafia, Side, 310, Man Roof, my peoples. One love to everybody, y'all. Um, Terence Crawford is the main topic of conversation today, my peoples. Why? Because if you haven't noticed, Terence Bud Crawford is on a world tour. I'm talking about you see him dancing salsa in Cuba, in samurai suits in Japan, rocking the furry hat in where Usyk from? No, he's not from Dagestan. He's from Europe, somewhere in Europe, right? Crawford is all over the place. You know, world tour in full effect. And I told you guys, when he beat Canelo Alvarez, the torch was being passed. Have you seen Canelo? Do you know what Canelo are? What Canelo doing? Usyk is from Ukraine. There you have it. Uzbekistan. Terence Crawford, Uzbekistan, Cuba, um, Japan. I think I seen him in Australia too, if I'm not mistaken. So the whole world. That's why I told you guys that I knew after that fight, Terence Crawford was the face of boxing because 40 million people tuning in to watch him whoop the face of boxing. That's all over the world. And what happened after the fight? We see Terence Crawford all over the world. So there you have it. How can you argue against that? What argument can somebody make? He's not, you know, the guy in the US alone or the guy in the UK alone. He's the guy all over the world, my peoples. It's a wrap. You can't get around it. Side world tour for sure. Come on, man. Crawford is everywhere. Everybody wants a piece of the face of boxing. Everybody want to be associated. Everybody want to be seen with him. Want to take a picture with him. Everybody want to do an interview. Everybody want him on their show. Don't be surprised if we see Crawford coming out in another movie. Morning, everyone. TBC, the finisher. That's it. Look, when I started saying, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think I'm the first person that started saying that Crawford was the face of boxing. People was laughing at me. Charles Heaney, what's up, Snoop? Man, when I had long hair, that I got that a lot. I don't think I look like him, but Queen, bro, you be on it, love it, appreciate it, my guy. And listen, when I first said that Terence Crawford was the face of boxing, yo, I got ridiculed. People laughed at me and was like, I'm just being a fan and all of this other stuff. But come on now. Look at the way everything is developing. The whole situation. By the way, my peoples, and you know, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Trying to give you another healthy dosage of sweet science. Nice and early in the morning. Today's Thursday, beautiful day. Enjoy your breakfast, by the way. I'm having mine. I got 2 boiled eggs. That's my breakfast. Side, Crawford is the greatest boxer of all time. Look, man, that conversation is going to be had. We're going to have that conversation. You know, where is Terence Crawford going to rank in the all-time list when it's all said and done? That's a conversation we're going to have. Because all you have to do is look at what he's doing, the accomplishments. And then the way that he's being treated. The way that the world views him. O'Neal, he's not the GOAT. I mean, can we say he's the greatest of all time? There's an argument that can be made, but if you have someone else above him, that's okay. Because obviously there's some great fighters who have laced on a pair of gloves. But one thing is for sure. This is, without a shred of doubt, Terence Crawford's era. And not only it's his era, people just were not able to digest it. But that's the case since he whooped Errol. Since he whooped Errol, it has been his era. People just wasn't ready to accept it. And I'll tell you why. He beat Errol 2 years ago, right? Monster win. People try to, diminish it, which they do that to all the greats, try to say that Errol wasn't the same and all that corny stuff. But that win was huge. And since then, tell me what win has Canelo had that you could say, oh, that was a monster win. He beat Charlo moving up in weight. He beat Berlanga. He beat School. He beat... So, since Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence, he's been the guy. It's just that people have not been able to digest it. Side. Split Buzz career in 2, and he goes into the Hall of Fame twice. Of course. If you take Terence Crawford's career up until he got the first undisputed, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame right there. And then he got 2 more after that. He's in the Hall of Fame. Come on now. But as far as accomplishments, he took over. That's it. And I'm going to tell you why he took over as far as accomplishments. The 3-time undisputed, right? That's something that right now, the only person who has even close, who has a chance to match that is Naoya Inoue. The thing is that he moved up again, right? And for him to become 3 times undisputed, obviously he has to do it in a new weight class. But Naoya Inoue is the only person that can right now, that is close to being able to match that. There's nobody else. For you to be close to Crawford, you have to have at least 2 undisputed. Usyk got 2, but he's not moving up anymore. He can't. So Terence Crawford's spot is solidified, not just because he's the first one to get there, but somebody else has to get there. And now, with him calling out home Johnny Beck at 160, bro, he can potentially become undisputed in the 4th division. If Naoya Inoue doesn't become undisputed in a 4th division, my peoples, we may never have the opportunity to see somebody surpass that feat. We'll never see somebody either become undisputed 4 times or surpass that. So during our lifetime, guess what? Terence Crawford may become the greatest fighter of all time, and nobody will surpass it. That can happen. Side, it can become 3 times undisputed, but he needs to move quick. Nakatani coming in, coming up, and bam. So here's the deal. The challenge for Naoya Inoue is that he's a very small dude. He's like Pacquiao. He's small, but he's so talented that we see what he's doing. He's a special fighter. Naoya Inoue is special. There's no getting around that. But he's small. So he still has to conquer a 3rd division for undisputed. That's going to be tough for him. And moving up a 4th may not even be an option. Moving up to a 4th division to become undisputed may not even be an option for Naoya Inoue. Size, smaller dudes exit their primes quicker too. That's a fact. Especially if you have that style where you bang and you trade like Inoue. And that's at any weight class. If you trade in leather, by 35, 36, you're about done. If you're going through wars, 35, 36, you're about done. If you had a real good career, you can go that far. But you're not getting past that. Side, fast twitch goes quick. Stephen McLaughlin, you're right, but this will be his biggest test, moving up again. And that's what I'm saying about Naoya Inoue, that he's such a small dude that at some point it gets tough to where you have to go the distance. You're going to see Naoya Inoue get to a point where he's not going to be stopping dudes no more. That's it. They too big. They're going to be able to take his power. And he's going to have to go the distance with them. And he's going to deal with adversity. Remember, he's not clean like he just washed everybody. The first time he fought Nonito Donaire, he gave him problems. He ran into problems in that fight. Of course, he was facing a special fighter who obviously was way past his prime. But still, now it's not like he's untouchable. He can't be touched. And there's some good fighters out there. So, but even if he does, because it's possible that he could accomplish undisputed in the 3rd division. It can happen, right? Terence Crawford's still the first guy to ever do that. Terence Crawford is still, that's it. That's written in the books forever. Crawford is the first guy to become undisputed in 2 divisions. Let me clarify, in the 4-belt era, before somebody say, oh, you don't know. The first one to do it in the 4-belt era in 2 divisions. And now he did it in 3 divisions. Aiming to do it in a 4th. We're seeing what we've never seen before, my peoples. You have to think about it. You have to think about the names. Think about the names. Watch this. Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Shane Mosley, Evander Holyfield. Well, no, Evander Holyfield's a heavyweight. Think about Roberto Duran. Think about Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Think about the greats, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. None of these fighters became undisputed in 3 divisions. None. The greatest fighters to ever do it. So it's hard for people to grasp how big that is. But when you're the only one to ever accomplish a feat, that's big. Let me give you an example. Floyd Mayweather's not the only fighter to retire undefeated. Yeah. That's one of the things that people more focus on. Oh, he retired undefeated. He retired undefeated. 50-0, 50-0. See? But that feat is not unique. They just wasn't as famous as Floyd. But there's, I think, over 10 fighters who retired undefeated. So the retiring undefeated is not a unique feat. We've seen it before. Or we could look it up and see it. But 3 times undisputed, well, 2 times undisputed is unique. Nobody had ever done it in the history of the sport, in the 4-belt era. Not the history, the 4-belt era. And then 3 times undisputed again, we witnessed something that no boxing fan in the history has ever witnessed. A fighter become 3 times undisputed. Come on, my peoples. That's a unique accomplishment that's going to be in the history books forever. So people have a hard time with processing how big that actually is. Sad, Stephen, it will take more than power to beat Crawford. Stephen, but can he take that power? And I hate for him to lose that. Oh, Mayweather would be unbearable. So, you know, the thing about can he take the power, just remember that narrative that there was with Crawford, where he was going to fight Canelo. Oh, he's not going to be able to take the power. Canelo's just going to walk him down and beat him up. Like, that was the whole narrative before the fight. And that was the narrative before the fight where he was going to go in there with Errol Spence. Even Tank Davis said, nah, he got a glass shield. Errol going to break him. At the end of the day, skills pay the bills. Power. So it's going to be the same for Naoya Inoue. He's not going to just get beat up by a guy that get hit hard and that's it. Because he hit pretty hard too. He's going to get beat by a guy who's going to be able to outbox him. And that's going to be tough because he's at the highest level himself. Kalazagi was a great boxer too. Shame he was throwing shade on Canelo and Crawford the other day. Yeah, I didn't like that. But I'll tell you what. Kalasagi's a fighter who I feel like he never really got his flowers. He was never acknowledged the way that he should have been. I feel that way. It's almost like outside of like hardcore boxing fans, nobody even mentioned him. They don't even talk about him. Oh, you know, if he was involved in a fight, if he was, you know, I'm talking about a boxing match, or even if he's involved in some type of controversy, makes a crazy comment. But people don't give Kalazagi the credit that he deserved for what he did inside the ring. And that's a shame, to be honest. So maybe there's a little bit of bitterness there because he's looking at, you know, Canelo get his flowers. He's looking at the way Crawford's being treated. And he never really got any royal treatment like that. He never really, if you think about the people that he beat and what he accomplished in his career, he don't get his flowers like that. So, salute to Kalizagi. I'll give you your flowers. I know that you was a great fighter, that you accomplished, and people should just accept it, how great you really was. You got to be, when we talk about great fighters of the era, Kawasaki has to be part of that conversation. You see how we talk about Bernard? Oops, Sai just took it from me. You just took it from me, Sai. You know, B-Hop and Roy Jones Jr., you know, monster wins. And look at the type of stars that B-Hop and Roy are. Yeah, Kawasaki's like, it's almost like we act like Kawasaki was a regular guy. And he was a good boxer. He won some fights. Nah, this guy was a great fighter. A great fighter. Stephen McLaughlin, you know your shit. Appreciate it, my brother. Really appreciate that. Sai, B-Hop and Roy Jones, crazy wins. Yet, look at the popularity of both of them. And compare it to Kawasaki. If you're not a hardcore boxing fan, you may not even know him. That's crazy. Think about it. I've been in conversations with people that we talking about Roy or we talking about B-Hop, and I bring up Kawasaki, and yo, I swear to God, I've had people tell me, who's that? What you mean, who's that? What do you... Come on, see. So, it's not fair, but unfortunately, Kawasaki never achieved the level of popularity that he should have. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That's why you see this happening right here. You see that? That's the difference. Terence Crawford has a great team. A great team behind him. Why? Because there was champions back then that will get a great win, a monster win, and then you don't see them again. You don't hear from them. It's almost like they went into hiding. And they didn't go into hiding, but you know, they go into celebrating, into partying, into having a good time, taking some time off. Terence Crawford on a world tour. He out there. Why you think Andre Ward retired undefeated and never became like a big star? As a matter of fact, Andre Ward is more famous right now as a commentator than he was as a fighter, bro. I know people who was boxing fans that wasn't even watching Andre Ward fights. But yeah, he nice, but... And you know who I compare Andre Ward to? And it's somebody from a different sport. It's somebody from a different sport, but I'm going to give y'all the crazy comparison for Andre Ward. Tim Duncan. Andre Ward is the Tim Duncan of the Tim Duncan of boxing. Give me a hug. I love you. You want to sit right here? Come on. You want to sit right here? So let me explain to you, my papers. Let me explain to you why Andre Ward is the Tim Duncan of boxing. If you think about it, Tim Duncan is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, bro. One of the greatest. Yet, after the basketball games, you never saw him on the red carpet. You never saw him in front of the cameras. You never saw him in any controversy. Tim Duncan is that dude that dropped 30 and 10 and just quietly went home to his family, to his peoples, and you never really saw him. He never really... It's like he didn't want to be famous. He didn't want that attention. That's the way that he moved. And even now you don't see Tim Duncan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and you hardly see him. Unless he's like in a public function, you don't really see him like that. So, Andre Ward was that type of fighter. He went to work, walked out of there with the W, went home. Not only that, if you think about it, Ward didn't have the most, I would say, fan-friendly style. Some of his fights were very slow-paced, not a lot of action. And Tim Duncan in the court, he wasn't a flashy dude. He wasn't in there trying to do nothing funny. He was just in there scoring buckets, getting rebounds, assists, all type of stats. Army that's fact about Tim Duncan. One of the greatest, yet we never really saw him outside of balling. You didn't see him in the red carpets. You didn't see him. Oh, Tim Duncan got locked up. He beat somebody up in the streets. No controversy ever. Well, Andre Ward is the same thing. You gotta go watch TV. Go. Go watch TV. No. No. Come on, go. You're gonna be okay. Hold on, my people. Let me put the cartoons for my son. Stephen McLaughlin. I'm English, and I love Carl Cobra Frost. Oh my God! But Andre Ward made him look like an amateur, and Carl Frost was a warrior, unbeaten. Listen, Frost was a special fighter. He just ran into somebody that had more than him. But Carl is somebody I love watching. Army Dad, silent assassin. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, that if you're great, but you're always trying to fly under the radar, you're not looking for the camera. When the cameras are there, you even try to stay away from them. If you're that type of person, you're not going to accomplish the level of popularity that you should. Superman, in the big lights, getting his shine. Go Ryan. He's going to be one day the face of Box Center. I got a feeling, because he loved boxing. He loved the sweet science. But again, my peoples, this world tour is what Crawford is supposed to be doing. You see Terence Crawford with 50 Cent. You see him with Usyk. You see him with this person, with that person, with the biggest names. It sounded crazy when I first said Terence Crawford was the face of boxing, right? It sounded crazy. But I think people are starting to accept it. Superman, yes, he's proving he's the face of boxing. And I think you was on the show, Superman, the Sunday after the fight took place. When I say he was the face of boxing, people rained on me. You crazy. He never be the face of boxing. We're not even going to hear from him. Canelo's the guy. We haven't even heard from Canelo after the fight. We don't even know where Canelo at. You can't even tell me where Canelo at right now. Crawford in Dagestan or something Istan, Cuba, Japan, Australia. That's the face of boxing. Because that's another thing too. You not the face of boxing because you're popular in your country. There's a lot of fighters that are superstars in their country. I'll give you an example. Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue is a rock star in Japan. He's like the Beatles in Japan. I've seen the way they react to him. It's crazy. But that's in Japan, not on the world scale. When you see this man, how the treatment that he's getting all over the world, just like Canelo. Canelo was that guy. Canelo's the guy that when he go on a world tour, everybody receive him like royalty because it's him. Look how they receiving Terence Crawford everywhere that he's going. The reception is what tells you was really good. He not just showing up and walking with his team and nah. It's chartered in private planes. We got a team receiving you. We have this core event. We're gonna have you VIP the whole time you're here. That's how Crawford is moving. That's what's going on right now. He a world champion for a reason. Probably gets more love in the UK than in the US. Man, they going crazy with Crawford. They are. But he's getting a lot of love in the US. A lot of hate too though, man. Ever since he beat Errol, he get a lot of hate too. Matter of fact, I think most of Crawford's haters are in the US. Because the Errol Spence fan base are mostly US fans. And the Tank Davis fans and the PBC fans is mostly US fans. Superman, yes, I'm so proud of him, bro. Man, listen, this journey, I feel happy and I feel lucky that I had the opportunity to witness this journey from very early on. And damn, man, listen, honestly, my peoples, and this is real talk, Crawford has been my best prediction ever. I've made a lot of real good predictions. But Crawford has turned out to be my best prediction ever, my peoples. And you know why I tell you that? Because the first time I saw Crawford fighting, we're talking about 2025, around 2012. I'm not sure. I could look it up. But the first time I saw him fight was around 2012. To show you how early in his career he was, that was before he got his first ESPN fight. Because when he first got on ESPN, let me explain it to you. You can look this up. He first fought on a televised card that was like a ESPN sub network or something like that, or an ESPN affiliate. That's when he had the cornrows, the big cornrows. Short, real short hair. He they didn't even hang from the back. They were like that. And I remember the announcer saying, I even remember he was wearing red trunks. And the announcer saying, he's a scary guy. This guy's scary. And when I heard the announcer say that, I was like, damn, man, who the hell is this guy? And I watched that fight, my peoples. And watch this. For his very next fight, when I saw he was coming on, I called one of my boys that lived close by because we used to be talking about boxing. And I was like, yo, you need to come over. This dude's going to fight. I want you to see this guy. This guy can fight. And my boy came over. We watched the fight. And I think that was Crawford's debut on ESPN. Like when you see the ESPN logo, the ring and all that. It was, always the blue ring. Boom, he made the debut and we watched that fight. And I think it was the fight after that he fought Gamboa. It was either one fight after that or two, I'm not sure. But first, he was early. People don't realize this because it was a long time ago. And a lot of people wasn't following Crawford that long ago. But when he fought Gamboa, he had recently made his debut on ESPN. I think it was that same year. Fought and then Gamboa. So for the Gamboa fight, I had called somebody up. I was like, yo, we're going to go over there. We're going to watch this fight. Because we were supposed to go over there to just chill and watch a game or something. But I'm like, nah, yo, there's a boxing match. We're going to go through. We're going to watch that. Yo, we showed up to my boy's house. Took some liquor over there. Some pizza. And that's when he fought Yuriorkis Gamboa. And when we watched that fight, remember, I'm with two people that I put them on to Crawford. They didn't know about him. When we watched that fight with Gamboa, I told them niggas, I was like, yo, bro, this guy's gonna do big things, yo. I don't see nobody beating this guy. And look how early his career was, and I was already talking about, yo, nobody's beating this guy. I was floating around the Crawford name when people had no idea who that was. Going to people like, yo, you gotta see this guy, Terence Crawford. So it's like, yo, from the first time I saw this dude climb the ring, I had a feeling about him. And look how that career has played out. I seen all the hate. I seen all the people saying that he didn't beat nobody. I seen the whole PBC saga where they froze him out. Nobody would fight him, asking for the mythical figure of $10 million, which means I'm not trying to fight you. I got to see all of that stuff play out. And then see how he was one of the most hated boxers after he pummeled Errol Spence. I witnessed that too. One of the most hated in the game. And now the face of boxing. That's why I tell people, they're gonna make a movie about Terence Crawford. Remember I told you this. Remember I told you this, my peoples. They will make a movie about Terence Bud Crawford. Ike Mike, J. Smith. Peace, my brother. Salute, my guy. What you think Bud and Turkey big announcement will be? Do you think he'll fight again? If so, who, what weight? Bud, my all-time favorite. So, this is what somebody told me, but I don't know that for a fact. Right? I don't know this for a fact. This is just a rumor right now. But somebody told me that what's really going to happen is that Terence Crawford is going to have his first card in Omaha, Nebraska as a promoter in March under TBC Promotions. I have not gotten that from any official source, so I don't know that for a fact. I thought that he was going to fight in March, but I don't know that. But as far as will he fight again, the answer to that question is without a doubt, yes. Where? At 160. Who? We don't know yet. He already said, Johnny Beck, I got my eye on you. Good luck on your next fight. So should Johnny Beck win his next fight, we might see Terence Crawford versus Johnny Beck. But there's also a wild card here. And that is Carlos Adames, the WBC champion at 160. You know that green belt is the most important one in the game. The green belt, baby. And Carlos Adames has it. So Terence Crawford can, one, go down to 160 and face Carlos Adames for that title, or two, fight Johnny Beck, because if Johnny Beck wins his next fight, he's going to hold 3 of the belts. Or he can wait for Johnny Beck to fight Carlos Adames. They have a fight for undisputed, and then Terence Crawford could come down and face the undisputed champion. That can also happen. So he's going to have options. I think it's also going to depend on what happens at 160. Because obviously if Johnny Beck loses, he's not going to go down and fight him. He's going to fight the champion. So we'll see. I think he fought Bradis Prescott before Gamboa. And that was a real good fight. You know why? Because Bradis Prescott, if you don't know him, he can fight. And he's a knockout puncher, an aggressive fighter. Crawford stopped him. Got the stoppage. AR, how is it that it's even a question? Crawford ain't fighting Usyk, dude. Yeah. Like, come on. Crawford's going to move to the heavyweight division? That doesn't even make sense. Who has ever called out Johnny Beck? Crawford is just different. And I'll remind you that Johnny Beck was supposed to fight Boo Boo. He was mandatory. And Boo Boo didn't fight him. George Jack in Tennessee has entered the chat in the building. What's the deal, George Jack? Bam. Stephen McLaughlin. Why so many haters in USA for Usyk? Stop it. I don't understand, man. Is that, like I said before, it's crazy to me to see that the majority of Terence Crawford haters are American fans. And then within those American fans, the majority of his haters are African American. It's like, come on, bro. Why not support this guy? You can't use the we support the brother for this guy and not do it for this guy. Stephen McLaughlin. He took Amir Khan clean out. But you know, since there's always been that hate for Terence Crawford, Amir Khan was washed. Porter was washed. Kelbrook was washed. Errol Spence wasn't the same. Canelo wasn't the same. Everybody he beat somehow ain't no good. It's washed and ain't the same. That shit is hilarious. But no matter how much people hate, the history books are going to write the accomplishments. And the history books, not us, will make this Terence Crawford's era. The history books will put him at the top. Because everybody has an opinion, but the facts are not up for debate. The stats are not up for debate. You can't debate with me. Well, you're not sure that he undisputed in 3 divisions. You don't know that. We know that for a fact. You got to let that sizzle in your spirit. Side, I've been said for years, but it's a black Salvador Sanchez. It's hard for me to say that he's a black Salvador Sanchez because at this point he's more accomplished than Salvador Sanchez. Of course, we know the story. Sanchez died young, but Crawford is more accomplished. We don't know how Sanchez's career would have played out. We can assume, and it's safe to assume that it would have played out great, but you just don't know. With Crawford, he already did it. But their greatness in the ring is undeniable. Just think about it. Salvador Sanchez died tragically young, and there's people who still consider him the greatest Mexican fighter ever. This guy died in his 20s. Like Mike, Jay, Buzz so nice. You really can't train for him. He's so versatile. That's the problem, man. Terence Crawford's a fighter who can beat you from the outside, who can beat you from the inside. He can bang with you and win the exchanges. He can use his footwork and outbox you. Then he can trade southpaw orthodox mid-rounds, between rounds, whenever he wants to, seamlessly. How the hell do you prepare for a guy like that? Crawford is the type of fighter who only loses 2 different ways. Number 1, he stays around for too long, Father Time takes over, and he get beat by a young bull. That's one way to lose. He stays around for too long. And number 2, he goes way too far, way up. Let's say this, I'm gonna fight a heavyweight. Some crazy stuff like that. I'm gonna go to 175. He could take a loss like that. But if he stays within his division, ain't nobody messing with him. He can't be beat. He's gonna retire unbeaten. Because he's not gonna do nothing crazy. He's not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna challenge a heavyweight. He ain't gonna do that. Side, of course, both savvy boxers with great poise. Nothing new flustered those guys in the ring, except Bud can switch. Who's the next pound for pound great after Bud retires? I mean, I think we got a few pound for pound greats right now coming up. Because, look, Teofimo is going to be one of those guys. Shakur Stevenson is going to be one of those guys. I think Shakur's going to end up at the top. Devin Haney's going to be one of those. Jerome Boots Ennis. I think out of those guys, the ones that you'll see right there duking it out for that spot is going to be Boots and Shakur. And then Devin and Teo, they're also going to be in that battle too. But, let me just say this. You may notice that I didn't mention Tank Davis. I only didn't mention him because I don't know if he's going to retire. I don't know what's going to be his next move. I'm hoping that he just take a short break, deal with whatever he got to deal with, and come back to boxing hungry, mad, and wanting to fight all those guys. But we don't know. We don't know how that's going to play out yet. However, for now, my peoples, it's Terence Crawford's era. And he's the guy. He's the guy that you're going to see a lot more of. He's the guy that you're going to see in the TV shows, in the interviews. Probably you're going to see him in a movie. I won't be surprised if he already got movie offers, already got some in the works. Side Booz, side Bud Shakur, and Bam. I see Bam is going to be up there too. Bam is going to be one of those two for sure. Side Bud has been pound for pound for about 10 years. That's insane. Come on now. Not only that, it's these accomplishments that people just don't notice that are happening right under your nose. You're not understanding that Crawford has been in title fights only for over 10 years. All of his fights for over 10 years have been title fights. Walked out of every single one of them with a W. You imagine that? Title fight after title fight after title fight. That's what made Terence Crawford's accomplishments so special. Daniel Negron, mad response. Mad respect, I guess you say. Mad respect. Crawford getting around the world, I've seen. Or mad response, I guess. Remember, he was in Creed as well. Yup. Daniel Negron, he dressing better too. Side, no current champion has beat more undefeated fighters than Bud. That's a fact. And that's something that I used to highlight all the time. Like, bro, look at the people that Crawford has faced and beat. Look at the streak. Not only that, even those who taken L's, he not facing guys with losing records, guys with 8, 10 losses. Nah. Facing top level guys consistently. Either world champions, former world champions, or very highly ranked opponents. Been doing it. And I'm going to tell you guys, what is it that made Terence Crawford's story special? Or one of the things that makes his story special. You guys remember when he was at the welterweight division, right? When he just couldn't get those big fights. Couldn't do it. And there was a point where the whole narrative was, he's the B-side, he didn't beat nobody, everybody else, they gotta get paid, they gotta pay them, he don't need it because he ain't never got no money like them. And the narrative was always about him being the B-side, and he never beat nobody. Remember that? Here's what I want you guys to understand. When he went through that period, he fought, Kell Brook, fought Amir Khan, fought Sean Porter, fought Mean Machine. When he was fighting these people and not getting the opportunity to fight Errol, you know what could have easily happened? He could have took an L along the way. That could have happened. He could have took an L, and that could have derailed the whole thing. Because guess what? If he would have took an L and lost that WBO title, he would have never got that fight with Errol Spence. Ever. He was never going to fight Errol. But he forced it. They couldn't keep it away from him. That's it. The only way Errol could shoot for undisputed was by facing Terence Crawford. So why Crawford's career is so special? Because when they denied him that shot at greatness and he had to go fight other people, he just went, fought them, and beat them and kept winning and winning and winning and winning until they had to give him Errol. And then he showed out. That's the definition of seizing the moment. You're not gonna give it to me. I'm gonna press it. I'm gonna press the issue. And when the fight happens, we saw how it played out. Terence Crawford gave Errol Spence the beating of a lifetime. Side, I like how Bud matured over the years. He was an angry dude with a huge chip on his shoulder. Early in his career, he's grown a lot. That's a fact. That's a fact. You can see that growth. Elsewhere, I'm a real Crawford fan before all Spence beating. Most of these fans just riding the wave. I'm telling you. You know the fans that are riding a wave when somebody take a loss. Crawford ain't gonna take a loss, but to give you an example, Errol Spence fans who accepted that he lost to the better man are not the same as Errol Spence fans who are saying, nah, he not the same. He not the same no more. The accident. You're not a real Errol Spence fan. You throwing him under the bus now. How you go from saying he gonna knock him out, he the big fish, to nah, he not the same. The car accident and all of this other stuff. So you're not a real Errol Spence fan. Soon as he took a L, you threw his ass under the bus. That's crazy. Daniel Negron, he might have an upgrade. Or dress manager. I mean, Crawford is a huge star right now. So, and he's making a lot of appearances. So he definitely got somebody. A stylist and all that. Stephen McLaughlin. Ricky Burns in '08. First time had been beat. Bud just beat him for 12 rounds and took his first world title. Burns was favorite. Man, listen. That fight with Ricky Burns, I watched it live. I don't have good memory of it. Because obviously it was a very long time ago. But we're seeing, man, how special Terence Crawford is. Aroma Sound. I don't think he have taken it out. Why do you think could have beaten him before he fought Errol? Hold on. I don't think he have taken an L. Why do you think he could have beaten him before he fought Errol? I just felt like he was a special fighter. Look, when I saw Crawford early, I said nobody beat this guy. The way, the style, the way that he did it, and Crawford didn't start switching up late. I don't know if he's always been a switch hitter since the amateurs, but from the first time I ever saw him, he was doing it. That's part of the reason why I was like, nah, man. Nobody beating this guy. Superman. Him and EJ made that fight happen. Heyman didn't ever want that to happen. I mean, they didn't want it to happen, but I think it got to that point where it was hard to not make it, because you have to remember, the whole storyline behind Errol Spence is that he's the best welterweight in the world and that he's going to become undisputed. They dragged it out in the hopes that Terence Crawford will lose along the way. Because if Crawford, let's say, loses to Amir Khan, for example, right away, Errol Spence challenges him, get the WBO title, and never give Crawford an opportunity. Would have been able to become undisputed without ever having to fight him. So they dragged it out, but Crawford just kept winning. Winning and winning and winning, and he pressed the issue. Daniel Negron. Gamboa only one that rocked him, but Gam didn't last. No, he lasted. You mean he didn't last after catching him with that good shot, but that fight went, if I'm not mistaken, 10 or 11 rounds. It was towards the end that Crawford stopped him. But it was a very good fight, very competitive fight. Gamboa was undefeated at that time. He had been a world champion in the previous division, he had just moved up. So he wasn't just an average dude. This is a world champion, world championship caliber fighter that Crawford was facing, undefeated and in his prime. And Daniel Negron, he chose to fight Gamboa. If you remember, he chose to stay there and bang with him. He got caught with a shot. What he do? Finished him afterwards. Side, I would have loved to see Crawford versus Taylor when Taylor was doing his thing at 140. But in hindsight, Crawford would have stopped him. Yeah, I think Crawford would have stopped him brutally. Boxing Junkie, I saw the fights since Rick Burns, Grand Rising. Listen, so since Ricky Burns, you could see that he was a special fighter. And everybody wasn't as high as me on Terence Crawford, but I'm telling you, man, since back then, if you go to my Facebook, yo, you'll find that I shared stuff about Crawford back then when he wasn't even a star. I'm going to look for those posts, as a matter of fact. I'm going to go to my other Facebook. I'm going to go all the way back to 2012 and find those old posts. Side, but it's a fashion icon now. See what I'm saying? They used to laugh about his clothes, laugh about his outfits. Now the dude is a fashion icon on GQ magazine. Side, Moses Italma about to KO Franklin. Listen, man, Moses Italma, I've been saying it. He's a special fighter. He's a special fighter. He's going to go on to do big things. Superman, yes. But EJ and Bud made the fight happen. Bud told people close to him the story so we know it. Even EJ said they made it happen. Heyman would have lowballed him and Bud wasn't having it. Of course, no, the story's out there. Crawford said, yo, I got on the phone and talked to him directly. Let's get this bag. Let's make this happen. And they made it happen. So, salute to Crawford and Errol for making the fight. But Crawford pressed the issue. He pressed him. Because you have to understand, the reason EJ wanted to fight is because that's his only shot undisputed. You done fought 3 world champions. You took their belts. You don't want to leave the division looking like a duck. Because think about that. What you think we would have said about EJ if he would have vacated all 3 belts and went to 154? What you think we would have said? Yes, there's going to be people that say, nah, he not ducking because he made an offer. Crawford should have took it. Like they did with Shakur and Devin. Shakur should have took the offer. But in reality, Devin ducked. That was a duck move. Let me make an offer so the fans could think I'm trying to fight, and then I'm leaving the division and dropping them titles. If Errol Spence would have did that, everybody would have said he a duck. So it's like he was stuck in a spot where you're either going to take the fight or you're not going to look good to the fans. They're going to rain on you about how you duck Crawford. So you see what happens. The rest is history. Daniel Negron, Bud, and the better Charlo brother, Jermell Charlo. I would like to see that fight. If you recall, after Crawford beat Errol, he climbed the ropes and pointed at Charlo directly. Yo, you next. And Charlo was talking his shit too. So, you know those two don't like each other. That would be a great fight. That would be a great fight. Superman, Gamboa was a little monster. Bro, Gamboa at that time was putting hands on everybody he was facing. And even when he faced Terence Crawford, he put hands on Bud. You see, fights like that are what show you when somebody is great. People don't even realize they bring up, oh, he got wobbled against Gamboa. He got wobbled against Gamboa. That was over 10 years ago, bro, and people still bring that up when he's about to fight. What they said when he was going to fight Errol. Oh, my God, if Gamboa wobbled him, imagine what Errol's going to do. Y'all remember that? And How did Gamboa wobbling Crawford help Errol? He got pummeled, took the beating of a lifetime. It didn't help him at all. Yet, when he was going to fight Canelo, that narrative came right back. Oh my God, if Gamboa wobbled him, imagine what Canelo's going to do when he lands. Bro, he fought Gamboa over 10 years ago, 100 divisions below. Why do you think that could even be relevant in 2025 at 160, at 30-something years old? People be delusional. They want to make up stuff inside their head. What happened in that Gamboa fight has nothing to do with any other fight in the future. You watch Terence Crawford get hit by Errol, hit by Porter, hit by guys who got power, and nothing happened. But because Gamboa one time caught him with a shot, you're going to hold that for his whole career every time you fight a big dude. And that's, look, one of the reasons why people don't like Crawford is because he keep proving them wrong. He keep proving people wrong, and they hate that. If you can sit there and say, you know what? He got him. He got him, yo. He's the guy. You're not going to hate him because you're accepting what's happening. But if you're like, nah, that guy was too old, and that guy wasn't the same, and that guy, he was hurt, and this guy also... It takes too much energy for you to make up all them crazy angles about Crawford. You just got to accept that the guy's the guy. That's it. Sai, salute to EJ for taking the fight. He catapulted Buzz's career to stardom after taking that beating. That was a nasty beating. I mean, I wouldn't say salute to EJ. I would say salute to both fighters for making the fight happen. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand, it can't be just salute EJ, because EJ, he didn't take the fight to give Bud an opportunity or to shoot him to superstardom. He gave Bud the fight thinking he was going to knock him out, and he was going to shoot to superstardom. So, you know, we can't act like he just gave it to him, like, let me look out for you. Nah, he was trying to look out for himself too, and he got pummeled. Superman, they would have said everything. This society's crazy. Daniel Negron, Edgar Berlanga lost, and Hamza Shiraz is fighting again. When you say Shamaz, are you talking about Hamza Shiraz? I think. Look, man, Edgar Berlanga, I've never been sold on him. I'm not going to say I've never been sold, but at some point, I was off that bandwagon. Like, nah, this guy, he ain't it. I see Edgar Berlanga like Jared Anderson. Guys who are really talented, but they got money. So their mindset is on some, I'm rich. I got money. Look at my chain. Look at my entourage, my crew. Guys like that, I put them in the category where they nice, but they don't have the discipline to beat the top dogs. They're going to get their ass whooped. When they get to that level, they get their ass whooped. Berlanga been at that level twice. Shiraz, Canelo, both whooped his ass. He wasn't even competitive versus any of them. Not even competitive. At no point did Berlanga look like he was close to beating Canelo or Shiraz. So, there you have it. Hamza Shiraz is now the king of New York because of Edgar Berlanga. Sorry, Charlo didn't want smoke with Bud. It didn't look like he wanted that. Especially when he was like, go fight Errol. You got your own thing over there. Yeah, it didn't look like he wanted that smoke. Superman. Yes, but Charlo said, I'm busy. Now he will never get a shot. Did you see Charlo the other day though? He was like, yo, I would be honored to fight him. He did what I couldn't do. So Charlo wants that fight now, but he ain't gonna get it. You know how Mel Charlo could get that fight? If he moved to 160 and beat Carlos Adames or beat another one of the champions. Only that way. And I don't think he wants that smoke with Carlos Adames. Adames is a problem. Stephen McLaughlin, but it's too much for Charlo. I agree. I says he beat Charlo. I mean, I don't see nobody beating Crawford, to be honest. Ain't nobody beating him. Unless he stick around for too long. Unless he trying to fight at 43, 44. Nobody beating him. Superman, pummeled. Man, listen. It was a pummeling session Errol Spence got invited to. He just didn't know that he was going to be the pummelee. I don't even know if that's a word. Shy Guy. It's because Lil Gamboa wobbled him. But that's the point. Over 10 years ago, 100 divisions down, how could that even be relevant? Like, that is, it's delusional. Yo, it's delusional to even think that's relevant. People saw him get hit hard by Errol, by Sean Porter, by Kell Brook, by knockout punches. And they didn't do nothing to him. They didn't drop him. But because this little guy wobbled him in one fight, they hold that for the rest of his career. Like, that shit is delusional and funny and just crazy. Aroma Sound, since Gamboa wobbled Bud and Bud beat up Errol, I haven't heard anyone say Gamboa will beat Errol or Gamboa will beat Canelo. Based on their logic, I guess that should be the case. That should be the case. Gamboa hurt Crawford more than Canelo. So, I guess Gamboa beats Canelo according to their logic. Shy Guy. Gamboa got slept in the same round. Come on. Got slept. And he got slept brutally. No, he got slept in the following round. He got dropped in that round. Boop, boop, boop. A couple of times. Then in the next round, he got brutalized and stopped. Shy Guy. Gamboa will get beat up bad if Buff fight him again. Nah, come on. They can't fight again now. Superman. Nello caught him with a shot early on and stood there. Buff felt it. And that was it. That was a wrap. He's from where? North Omaha, Nebraska. Y'all got it. Yo, Nebraska Road, y'all got it. Y'all got the face of boxing. Who the hell could say they would envision that the face of boxing will be from North Omaha, Nebraska? Who could even imagine that? You ain't even supposed to be famous. You ain't even supposed to be famous. You're a country dude over there somewhere. He the face of boxing. That's what happens. That's what happens when you keep believing, when you keep winning, when you keep making it happen. Eventually, they're going to have to give it to you. They tried to keep Crawford from accomplishing greatness. They couldn't. It couldn't be done. Side, yeah, EJ made a big bag. He made that paper. EJ got his money. Come on now. Come on now. Shy Guy. It's an insider because Jay used to say Lil Gamboa wobble him. And look how it all played out. Daniel Negron. I wanted Crawford to lose to Benavidez. Hold on. I wanted Crawford to lose to Benavidez. I don't gamble. Crawford was never going to fight Benavidez. That fight was never going to happen. Because it's what I told you. Right now, there's only two ways for Crawford to lose. Number one, he stays around too long and eventually fights a young bull at 42 years old, gets beat. That can happen. Or number two, he moves way too far up, fights somebody that's too big for him, and loses because of that. That can happen. But guess what? Crawford is a smart guy. He got a smart team behind him. They not going to put him in a fight with somebody that's a lot bigger than him because that just doesn't make no sense. Only people that are dying to see Crawford lose want to see him with somebody that's a lot bigger like that. But his team is not dumb. He's not dumb. We'll never see Terence Crawford versus David Benavidez. We're not going to see it. He ain't stupid. Stephen McLaughlin. I would like to see him have one more fight and pull the gloves off for good. I think that Crawford is going to have either one or two fights. And I'll tell you right now. He's either going to fight Johnny Beck or he's going to fight Johnny Beck and Carlos Adames. There you have it right there. Now, how does he retire with just one more fight? Simple. Allow Johnny Beck to win his next fight and then fight for undisputed with Carlos Adames. Why? Because then he could move down to 150 and fight the undisputed champion. So in one fight, he could make that happen. Actually, that's what I'm expecting. So I made that prediction before, right? So this is my prediction. It's only gonna go two ways. Number one, Johnny Beck wins and fights Crawford for those three belts. That's gonna leave Carlos Adames with the WBC title. Or number two, Adames and Johnny Beck unify, go for undisputed, and then Crawford fights the winner. There's only one of those two ways. So right now, Crawford is either gonna fight Johnny Beck or Johnny Beck and Carlos Adames. That's it. Bomac said he feels like Crawford has 2-3 fights left. I don't know how that plays out. If there's a third one, or he fights somebody that's not one of those two champions. But I see him going directly for the hardware. Those are my expectations. Sai, I saw him next to Bivol, and they the same size. Johnny Beck might be slightly bigger. Nah, Johnny Beck is huge. Johnny Beck is huge. He a big dude. Man, listen, look, somebody said it earlier in the chat. You see anybody calling out Johnny Beck? You see anybody thirsty to fight him? I think Carlos Adames said he want that fight. I think Adames want that smoke. But he about that life. But Johnny Beck is that guy that people don't want it. And by the way, at one point, he was Boo Boo's mandatory. He was Boo Boo's mandatory. And Boo Boo didn't take the fight. They didn't take it. Superman. But that's from the look. But that's from the looks. He has that many. But he has no bout to stay in boxing much longer. Oh, nah. Look, you have to understand. Terence Crawford is 39 years old. 39 years old with a shitload of money. A couple of huge paydays on the way. The face of boxing. World tour. Of course, he doesn't need to stay around too long. And like I said before, at 39 years old, you're at the tail end of your career. There's only so much more that you can cling on to your prime, to your, you performing at the highest level. There's only so long that you can keep doing that before you fall off just a little bit, and that'll be enough for some of those top guys to beat you. So I think Crawford, being as smart as he is, having the team that he has around him, I think they know that. And Bomac said it. Bomac said, look, 2 or 3 fights. 2 or 3 fights. That's what they got left. Sai, Johnny Beck is the boogeyman at 160. Like I said, man, you don't see people calling out Johnny Beck. You don't see people eager to fight him. So what does that suggest? He got 2 titles. Go take them 2 belts from him. Yo, people don't want him. People don't want his titles. You know who's the next Johnny Beck? Bakram Mortasaliev. It's like, yo, what happened? Nobody want his titles? I think Boots want that action, though. I think Boots is ready for that smoke. So let's see. Virgil Ortiz is probably going to duck Boots. It's looking like it. Boots and Johnny Beck is a heck of a fight. I mean, Boots and Mortasaliev. That's a heck of a fight. I'd like to see that one. But I wish some of the people that was laughing at me when I said Terence Crawford was the face of boxing would show up. I wish some of y'all would show up. What now? You still want to dispute it? You still want to argue it? Ow. Does Bub beat Beck? Yes. Terence Crawford's gonna beat Johnny Beck, and if he has to beat Carlos Adames, because that's why I'm not sure how it's gonna play out. Right now, Johnny Beck has 2 belts, and Islandis Lara has 1. They're gonna unify. We're expecting Johnny Beck to beat Lara, but what if Lara pulls off the upset? We might see Terence Crawford versus Islandis Lara. That could happen. And then you have the possibility of the 3-belt champion first facing off with Carlos Adames, so they could decide where they go from there. So I'm trying to see if Crawford is going to end up in the ring with Johnny Beck, with Adames, or with somebody else, which I think could potentially be Islandis Lara if he can win. And I'm going to be honest, I respect Islandis Lara, great fighter, and I keep going against him because I keep believing that he's done. Like, okay, this guy, man, Lara's like 41 years old, I think. He keep winning, he keep proving me wrong. Does Bub beat my peoples? By the way, Box Center 2.0. Subscribe. Look at it right there, pinned on the comment. I got a new show on the way for you guys that's gonna drop on Box Center 2.0. But I'm waiting to get to 50 subscribers, my people. Until I get to 50, YouTube will not allow me to go live. So come on, man. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. You see it right there pinned on the comments. We're at 44 subscribers, my peoples. Look, 44 subscribers. I'm only waiting to get to 50. Once I get to 50, the same day, I'm going to announce the new show. 6 more subscribers. That's all we need, y'all. Look, 44 subscribers on Box Center 2.0. 6 more subscribers, and I'll be able to announce the new show. Look at it right there, pinned on the comment. Subscribe to the channel, my peoples. The new show is going to be fire. When you see that hotline popping off and people calling, trash talking, we cursing each other out and everything, you're going to see it. You're going to see the realness. The Hydro Grind. Good morning, my people. Salute, my brother. Bam. Superman. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. The Hydro Grind. Johnny Beck versus Lara. And Adames versus Crawford. Win and face off for Undisputed. I would love that. I would love that. That's why I'm trying to holler at Carlos Adames, man. We supposed to talk one of these days. I want to see what he got coming up. Because I see him training. I see him preparing for something. But he's not saying much. Side, the Hydro Grind. That's the play. Your green thumb. Good morning, bro. Salute, my G. Bam. What's next for Terence Crawford, man? Listen, it's going to have to be between Johnny Beck and Carlos Adames. Because those are... Well, Lara's going to fight Johnny Beck already. So my expectation, Johnny Beck is going to beat Lara. So the 2 champions at 160 is going to be Johnny Beck and Carlos Adames. See, the Hydro Grind, Beck versus Lara and Adames versus Crawford, I don't think it's going to happen like that. Because, remember, Johnny Beck and Lara, they already fighting. They have their date and everything. But Crawford don't have anything announced for himself. So, we might end up seeing Johnny Beck with 3 belts. Adames with 1. And Crawford still haven't made a choice yet. It might go to that. So, what I think is a possible scenario is that Crawford waits it out and allow them to fight for Undisputed. Johnny Beck and Adames. Y'all fight for Undisputed. I'm going to give the champion an opportunity. Al, who's your favorite fighters right now? I would say Terence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Naoya Inoue, Bam Rodriguez, Alexander Usyk, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Tank Davis. There's a few others. But I would say Those names for sure are some of my favorite fighters in the game. Side, new fighter, ooh, the young guns, Abdullah Mason, Floyd Scorfield, I like him too. So come give me a hug. Come over here. Oh my God, Italma, ooh, Moses Italma, he one of my favorite young fighters too. But my peoples, show them the muscle, show them the muscle. Ooh, you see that? You see that? Ooh, look at the quickness. Look at the quickness. Show them how quick you punch. Show them, show them. Show them. You see that? You see that? Body blows, body blows. To the body. You see the body blows? Yeah, go watch TV. I love you. The hydro grind. Don't dash my question, Jay. I got you in the ropes. I missed the question, my brother. Okay, here we go. Now the question is, being Dominican and a Crawford fan, who you picking? Adames or Crawford? Man, why you trying to do me like this? So, if Adames end up fighting Crawford, I think I'll probably hit Crawford up on DM. Like, yo, you know I got you, bro, but this my guy from DR, so publicly, I'm going to get him. But you know what it is. I got you. And then on social media, I'll be like, Adames is going to whoop him. You want to stay here? On social media, I'm going to be like, Adames is going to whoop him. Hold that. But then privately, I'm going to be like, yo, Crawford, you know what it is, man. You know what it is. That's my peoples from my country. I gotta have his back. And he gonna understand it too, because Bud is a great guy. So he gonna understand that.
¿Por qué tú estás haciendo ese ruido, papá?
No, we talking to the people, look.
Pero ese ruido está muy lento para estar abajo, papá.
Sai, hold on one second. Sai, you got Ryan throwing 1-2s. Man, listen, at 4 years old, I could tell you, he got the hand speed and he got the power. He got the power. Knocking out 4-year-olds. Clean. Superman. Look at the first of Little Nephew. Yo, that's gonna be the face of boxing, I'm telling you. Down the line at some point, you guys will be like, damn, I remember when it was Jay running the show. I remember when Jay was doing boxing for breakfast. Now it's Ryan Enzo doing it. So, my peoples, we've already understood, we've already acknowledged Terence Crawford is the face of boxing. There's just no getting around that. We got them fights coming up on Saturday. That's some very, very interesting fights. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. is not the main event, yet it's the fight that has gotten the most attention. Most of the attention of this card has gone to this fight. Now, why is that the case? Simple. Because there's this cloud around Devin Haney's head where people think he's not the same. People think he's scared. People think he's going to get knocked out. The whole narrative around this fight, as a matter of fact, Devin Haney's the underdog. Yesterday, I'm not even going to blow nobody up. I'm not going to blow nobody's spot. But yesterday, somebody tried to tell me that the odds was even. Hold on one second, Ryan. Somebody tried to tell me that the odds was even between Devin and Brian Norman Jr. That's actually not the case at all. And I'm going to show you. Brian Norman Jr. is the favorite to... What the hell is this? Brian Norman Jr. is the favorite to win this fight. There we go, look. Brian Norman Jr. minus 105 favorite to win the fight. He's the favorite to win it.
Tú te callas cuando tú haces.
Hold on. Jason Whelan, top of the morning, good people. Salute, my brother. Bam, the Hydro grind. If Haney was scared, he would have never signed to fight the hardest hitting puncher in the division. And Ryan, hold on, they gotta hear me. And I said that too. I said, do you think if Devin Haney was scared, he would take on the hardest puncher in the division? Of course not. They feel comfortable. They feel confident and comfortable that they could win this fight. Oh, I think people hate Haney's father. I mean, but that has nothing to do with him because there's a lot of people that don't like Teofimo Lopez's father and they like him. So if you don't like Dev's father, that shouldn't affect how you perceive him. It shouldn't. And I'm gonna tell you what, and I stand on it. I've said it before. Matter of fact, I was on the Rice podcast yesterday. Salute to Lori, salute to Senior. And I was telling them, when it comes to Bill Haney, you got to give him his respect because he's done a great job of making his son a big star. Devin Haney is the type of guy who he doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't trash talk a lot. You got to put the camera in his face and get the words out of him. And he's not really a good trash talker either. So having somebody like Bill Haney has helped him get more exposure. You got a great hype man on your corner. Superman is closer to even now and getting closer. Jason Williams, special shout out to the young boxing historian getting his proper plate of boxing for breakfast. Of course, man, he getting educated on the sweet science every day. Superman, please stop saying the nonsense. Salute, Superman. Corey B. FanDuel had it almost even yesterday. Almost. You could say almost, but Brian Norman Jr. has been the favorite. And going into the fight, he definitely will go in as the favorite. Because let me tell you something. That how you see that is close is gonna widen because a lot of people are putting money on Brian Norman Jr. to knock Devin Haney out. So he's been the favorite. He's gonna be the favorite. Superman, he had to fight who Turkey choose. The Hydro grind. The only thing I disagree with Bill is not throwing the towel in the Ryan fight. Go watch your cartoon. Go, hurry up. I agree with that. I felt like Bill should have stopped that fight. I wouldn't allow my son to take a beating like that, or for pride, or for nah. So I agree with that. Felt like Bill should have definitely stopped that fight. The Hydro grind. Other than that, he's done a great job with his son. Come on now. Took his son from the bottom all the way to one of the biggest names in boxing. Done an amazing job. Remember, Devin Haney turned pro when he was like 17, I think. They went to Mexico to start gaining experience. They took the long, hard route and made it work. Come on now. You got to give Bill his credit. And he's a great dad. And you might like or dislike his personality, but him being a great dad is not even up for debate. Think about it. This guy, Bill, was a street dude. Everybody that knows, that's followed up on him, knows that he's a guy that got his money in the streets. And he switched up his street life to support his son's career. Because he knew, if I keep doing this, I could end up in jail. I could end up, and I'm not going to be there for my son. Changed his whole life around. And look how far he's taken his son. So he's a great father, like him or not. Superman, he did do a great job. And he does it by any means necessary. Even if it means disrespecting people and their sick loved ones. That's why I don't like Bill. I mean, like I told you, when you're a street dude in a professional world, that street is going to come out. Because in the streets, you insult anybody, people insult anybody, you get to see that on the big stage. Bill will give it to you. Jason Williams, Brian Norman Jr. is a top-tier showman and trash talker. I love it. Yo, Brian Norman Jr. can talk that shit. And the funny thing about him is that when he's not fighting, he don't really want to be in front of the cameras like that. He don't really want to be talking that. But when it's go time, oh yeah, he an elite level trash talker. Ow, I'm worried about Haney catching a solid left hook. Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Superman, the ref was also cheating in the Ryan fight too. They have it on video. I don't know how the ref was cheating, but Devin got pummeled. MZ3, what's your prediction on the whole card, top to bottom? So I got Bam Rodriguez beating Puma. I got Abdullah Mason beating Sam Noakes. Devin Haney beats Brian Norman Jr. And David Benavidez beats what's this dude name? Fighting Benavidez, my peoples. Refresh my recollection. Superman Street Cap Artist got shut down by Norman. Listen, Brian Norman Jr. is a special fighter. Yard, exactly, Yard. I got Benavidez beating Yard. Brian Norman Jr. is a special fighter. Me saying that Devin Haney is gonna win, I don't want nobody to interpret that as I'm trying to down what Norman Jr. bring to the table. I got love and respect for Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Sr., who I've spoken with in the past. And I know that even if he loses this fight like I think he will, Norman Jr. will go on to become a world champion again, will unify titles, will also win titles at 154. Like, he's going to go on to accomplish big things. I just feel like Devin, in this fight, is the better fighter going in. Superman can't make me like him ever again. Now, listen, you don't have to like him. But there's certain things that you have to accept. Like, just because you don't like him, right? That doesn't mean that you should say, yeah, he a bad father. He's a bad father. You could still not like him and say, yeah, I don't like him because of this, but the guy is still a good father. He's doing his thing with his kids. MZ3, thank you, brother. No doubt, my guy. So, Bill Haney, like I said, whether you love him or hate him, the guy's done a great job with Devin. As far as his professional career, he's done a great job with his kids. You see that he has one of them playing tennis, and you see him at the game. Like, Bill is a hands-on dad. He's there for his kids, and he's doing everything to make them successful in life. That's all, as a father, that's our biggest accomplishments. Nothing that we accomplish could ever be bigger than making our kids accomplish. You can accomplish everything in life, but if your kid is in the street begging for money, somewhere along the line, you fucked up. If your kid is a crackhead, if your kid's a bum, if your kid, somewhere along the line, you messed up. So, that is it could be the toughest and biggest accomplishment of a man is raising their kids to be somebody. And that's what Bill is doing. You got to give him his flowers. There you go, Bill, his flowers. You got it, family. You got to give it to him. Superman, I won't ever like Bill Fraud Haney. Superman, I won't ever like Bill Fraud Haney. He showed his hands too many times. I already gave him props for being a great father. Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you accept that he's a great father, but there's stuff that you don't like about him, ain't nothing wrong with that. We not going to like everybody. Everybody not going to like us. Yo, listen, there's people that absolutely hate me. Listen, I was on the Rise podcast yesterday, right? And I seen in the comments, yo, there was people there that was like, oh, man, this guy again? This guy, not this guy. Like, they don't want to see me on there. They don't like me. Which I think when people react like that with me, I guess that makes me grow, because then that makes other people, like, curious. Like, damn, what's up with this guy? Wow. Why they hate him so much? I don't even know why they hate me so much. Al, you seem like a cool brother to me. Fuck the haters. I don't understand. You see, that's something though. Corey B. Tank fans don't like you. That's something though. You see, there's a lot of Tank fans that don't like me because some of the positions that I take on Tank. And they never really acknowledge the credit that I give to Tank, you know, for his skills, for what he is able to do in the ring. They never really acknowledge when I say that. But if I say, oh, Tank ain't fight the best, they rain on me. And people don't like being called out on their bullshit. People don't like being called out on their bullshit narrative. So I do that all the time. I can't help myself. If you try to bullshit, I'm gonna call you out on it. Like, look at the whole situation with Lamar Roach. First, they try to say that Lamar Roach didn't win the fight. That it should not have been a knockdown. You talking that goofy shit. Then, after that, you saying that he's not ducking because he's getting the bag and we would all do the same thing too. So now you made it about the bag so that he can fight whoever he wants because you try to make it about the bag. So when I call people out, they get upset and eventually, and I noticed this too, there's fans that they'll get mad and they'll argue with me. Like I've been here doing this show where somebody got mad at me and argue with me, and right after arguing with me, subscribe to the channel. Cause that's a boxing fan. That's a boxing fan. He not subscribing to the channel to agree with me or because I agree with everything he think. He's subscribing to the channel because he know there's real boxing shit going on over here. That's why. So there's a bunch of people who argue with me here, but they subscribe to the channel. But then there's people who argue with me, and what they do, they start telling other people, yo, look what this guy said, man. Don't mess with him. Don't subscribe to his channel. Don't mess. Yo, there's Facebook groups where they have posted about me. Like they took a screenshot and posted about me. This dude's a hater. Don't mess with him. Don't go on his channel. There's been a group of people, yo, that went in. I don't know if it was 20, 30, 40. I don't know how many, but they all went in, reported the channel at the same time, and got me shadow banned. My peoples, there's people out there that want to see me out of YouTube. That don't want to see me in front of a screen, bro. But it is what it is. We're going to do what we do, right? Daniel Negron, word. If you was negative like them, they would be happy. You good, bro. I appreciate it, my guy. And that's the one thing that I understand. For calling it how I see it, I'm going to get a lot of flack. Because I notice there's people out there who say what they know people want to hear. So that everybody could be happy with them. Trust me, I could do that easily. I could be fake. And I could sit here and make a show about how, yo, Tank is the best, and Tank is the face of boxing, and he can do whatever he wants because he don't need no time. I could do a show like that. But why would I do that if I don't believe it in my heart? Why would I do that? So I'd rather be authentic and have people hating me because I'm telling what I really feel than being fake so I could get a lot of views and I could get likes. Y'all never gonna see me doing that. That's why you see me that there's days that I'm almost breaking records with how many people I block. Because I don't give a damn about goofballs who are just gonna be talking goofy stuff. I'm not thirsty for a subscriber if you're gonna be here talking goofy stuff. I don't need it. Block your ass. Superman, they're still talking trash like this. Nobody talking about Roach or Pitbull or that show. It was never about them in the first place. That's a nasty narrative to try to make Tank the focus. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Just yesterday in the Spit Bucket podcast, just yesterday, people was posting about if y'all really thought Lamont Roach won, then you don't know what you're talking about because he needed a technicality to win. Huh? Yo, Tank Davis fans is still posting about Lamar Roach. And it's like, bro, why you posting? Lamar Roach already got another fight lined up. Tank just fumbled the bag, the biggest bag of his career with Jake Paul. The bag that y'all was celebrating. You were celebrating. We would all do the same thing too. Well, he lost the bag. What you celebrating now? Al, groupthink. Listen, group thinking is a big thing. Most people don't even know what that means, but look up group thinking. There's a lot of group thinking in the Tank Davis fan base. So if one don't like me, a whole group of people don't gotta like me. MS, leak news. Benavidez signed fight with Golden Boys fighters Zurdo Ramirez and cruiserweight for Cinco de Mayo card is by PBC. Benavidez plans to take on the winner of Trilogy, Bivol versus Beterbiev. Whoa. Whoa. You heard it here first, my peoples. Is that breaking right now, my brother? I was not aware, obviously. But let me read that again, my peoples. Let me read that again. If it is breaking news, we finding out at 8:40 in the 8:50 in the morning, Eastern time. MS giving us the breaking news. Leaked news. Benavidez signed to fight with Golden Boys fighter Zurdo Ramirez at cruiserweight for Cinco de Mayo weekend. The card is by PBC. Benavidez plans to take on the winner of the Trilogy of Bivol versus Beterbiev in September. Whoa, MS is letting us know you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Damn. Damn. I got Benavidez putting the beast on Zurdo. Zurdo, honestly, man, the last couple of fights, I seen he's been looking real slow to me. Real slow. And Benavidez with that speed and that punch output, he a problem. He a problem. Ow. Tank lost to Roach. I felt that way too. I felt like he lost. And the rematch was going to tell us what it was. Because let me just say this. We all know Tank Davis was going through personal stuff. So we don't know if the rematch, he was going to, unleash some crazy fury on Lamar Roach. We don't know. We didn't get to see it. Ike Mike, Jay, you going to always have haters. Embrace it, my brother. Means you doing something right. But you got way more love and support than hate. I fuck with you. Syracuse, New York in the building. Woo. My brother, I appreciate that. And I'm trying to. I'm trying to do exactly that. Just say, fuck it. It is what it is. In fact, when I saw people was commenting about me, I was like, yo, I'm going to just ignore it. Yo, when I went on Blue Blood Sports TV, I've been on Blue... Yo, salute to my brother. Yo, that's a real one. That's a real G right there. Blue Blood Sports TV. Salute my brother. I've been on his platform a couple of times. And the same shit, bro. People in the comments talk about, nah, Blue, don't mess with that guy. Don't mess with... Yo, I remember some dude wrote in... A guy that used to see me on Facebook and hating on me on Facebook, like, nobody knows you. Nobody cares about your content. Right? A guy like that, I'm on Blue Blood Sports. He went in the comments and was like, yo, Blue, don't mess with this guy. He's trying to steal your subscribers. And he's trying to steal your clout. Christopher, salute, my brother. Bam. So it's like, people don't understand that if you doing this and if you doing this for the love and if you doing it right, people in boxing, they gonna fuck with you. They gonna rock with you because they know you're not doing this for the money. And they know you're not doing this out of some slick shit. That's why you seen, if you go in my channel, you see the people who have been on here before. Hold on, Ryan. I have to finish this. Come on now. MS, I heard this from a guy who is close to PBC contact. The fight is signed. They are stealing 5 Cinco de Mayo events from Canelo. Ooh. They gonna do Cinco de Mayo weekend? Damn. That's rude. You know that's Canelo's weekend, bro. Superman, aren't those 2 different weights? How can he do both? Danny on the ground. Whoa, no way. Superman. But if he get a hit, that Because to stiffen the man, Superman, I couldn't even read what you're saying there, bro. MZ3, after the Ramirez performance, you still think Haney will beat Norman? I got him beating Norman, yes. The thing is, MZ3, and I want you to consider this. The performance against Jose Ramirez, it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fan-friendly. It wasn't action-packed. But it was a great performance. Boxing is about hit and not be hit. Haney barely got hit, barely took any hard punches, and won the fight easily. So performance-wise, this is a great performance. Now, it's not a performance that's going to get you more fans. It's not a performance that's going to get people to praise you. You're going to get criticized for it. But he walked out of there with the W, and it was easy. Corey B, you can share subscribers. Man, listen, ain't nobody sharing subscribers with me. Send them my way. Superman, that's because you shining too much. When he got hit by Morrell, his foot got stiff. Listen, anybody can get wobbled. Anybody can get hurt. Because that's boxing, my people. It happens. But ultimately, it's all about who's going to walk out of there with the W. I think we all agree. It's all about who's going to get the W. And it's going to be Devin Haney. I'm telling you. Superman. Let's go Benavidez. Side, Benavidez versus Zurdo. It's a good fight. But can he move back down after that? I mean, I don't know if he could move right back down after that. I don't know if he can. But I will say, I got Benavidez putting the beats on Zurdo. Putting the beats on him. Because these last couple of fights, Zurdo has been looking super slow. Super slow. And Benavidez is the opposite. You know them hands is fast. You know the high punch output, the combinations. Nah. He want to beat Zurdo up. We want to see Superman. We want to see what he does as he moves up in comp. That's what I mean. That's two different weight classes. Superman, how he gonna look at Cruiser? I mean, Benavidez is a big dude, bro. He a big guy. He gonna look strong. You know, the part about him moving up and then moving back down, that's the only thing that we could see. Okay, let's see how, how is it gonna look? I got you. Let's see how that's gonna look. But he a big dude. Side, David started to look a little tight at 175 already. He a big dude. Superman, Saturday a test for him as long as Yard doesn't gas early. Honestly, I think that Yard is going to put up a good fight early on. But now, I think ultimately there is a gap in skills, and we're going to see it. Benavidez is the more skilled fighter, the more polished fighter. And he's going to be the guy with the faster hands. So I expect him to do what he does, man. In fact, much respect to Yard, but I got Benavidez winning this fight by stoppage. I think he's going to go out trying to make a statement. MS, I was told the reason Benavidez is going with Zurdo Ramirez after is because he wants to crown himself as undisputed in 3 weight classes by the time he fights Bivol Beterbiev in September. Sai, David will need to fight Opetaya after if he wants undisputed at cruiser. I mean, honestly, I think Opetayo versus Benavides is like they're on a collision course because they're close in size. They're close in size. Opetayo is the guy on the come up who looks like he's all about the smoke. My people's Jai Opetayo is all about the smoke. So I think Opetayo and Benavides may be headed on a collision course. JJ's in the house. Good morning, Jay Smith. I'm here. Let's go. 5 in the morning in California time. Salute, my brother. Bam, West does it. Peace, Jay Smith. Peace, chat. Gonna be a fast night Saturday. The only fight going 12 is the Mason fight. Nah, bro, because I don't think, honestly, and this is just me, I don't think Devin Haney's gonna knock Brian Norman Jr. out. He's not gonna knock him out. He's gonna go the distance too. Superman didn't stop Morrell, did not stop Verge. First guy at 175. Okay, you see, that's been what people been saying. He ain't stopping people up there. He gonna get the stoppage this time around. Nebraska Rocks, 7 a.m. Omaha, Nebraska. In the city and state of the face of boxing, it's 7 a.m. Superman, JJ's in there. Hit the like button, my peoples. Come on. We've been here for 2 hours. 20 likes in 2 hours, man. Y'all ducking that like button the same way all these fighters been ducking Shakur. You see how they be ducking Shakur Stevenson? That's the way some of y'all ducking that like button, bro. West does it. Devin getting his first snap in the ring. Bell better bring a bracelet, a blanket. Nah, man, listen. You're gonna be winning this trash talking engagement simply because I got too much love for Brian Norman Jr. and Sr. and I can't give it back to you. But I'm gonna just tell you, Devin Haney's gonna walk out of there with the W, and then you're gonna have to see me on Sunday morning, West Dusty. I want to see you copping, please. I know what y'all gonna do. You know what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna be like, yeah, he beat him, but we don't like the way that he beat him. He should have beat him differently than what he did. Facts. Superman. Appreciate that, man. My people, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Remember, I'm only waiting to get to 50 subscribers so we can start the new show. We have 44 subscribers. 6 more subscribers on Box Center 2.0, and I'm announcing the name of the show and the date that it drops. 6 more subscribers. It's 24 in the building, my people. 6 of you subscribe, and I drop the name and the date of the show today. Superman J. Smith, wake up from the dream, brother. It's not going to be the way you think it is. Didn't you tell me that when you said Canelo was going to stop Crawford and make it look easy? Wasn't Canelo supposed to make it look easy? So, you should be listening to me. If you don't want to deal with disappointment, heartbreak, gut-wrenching emotions, just abandon your original thought and say, you know what, Devin Haney is going to win this fight because Jay Stradamus told me. The inevitable. Superman, if he wins, it's going to be a tough win. No, it's definitely going to be a tough win. It's probably going to be Devin Haney's toughest fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if he faced adversity. MS, I'm going to have to go with Brian Norman Jr. by stoppage. I can't see Devin less than 12 in that ring. Listen, man, that's the most popular opinion that I've seen so far. Brian Norman Jr. by stoppage. Like I said, I was in the Rice podcast yesterday with Senior and Lori, and they got Brian Norman Jr. winning by stoppage as well. So I get that, and I respect it. I got to respect it because I know what Brian Norman Jr. brings to the table. I know why he's the favorite. He's a legitimate champion who's coming off of devastating knockout wins. What can you expect from a guy like that? And then there's questions around Devin's chin. Can he take a shot? So there's a whole combination here to suggest that Devin is gonna get knocked out. But then when you talking to Jay Stradamus, I'm telling you, I already, you know, all the data. By the way, Jay Stradamus, aka algorithm, all the data I already processed it and I already came to a conclusion, an accurate future prediction. Devin Haney's gonna win this fight. Superman, of course, you know I'm the first of a few that pick Bud. JJ's in there, has 24 likes. Diabolical, bro. I always pick Bud. Now we got some Dev. Now we got some Dev by 12 decision. Devin's gonna win it by decision. West does it. If Devin makes it through 12 with Atlanta's boogeyman, he deserves all the credit. Like the Bronze Bomber said, to survive, you gotta stay perfect for 12 rounds. And I only gotta be perfect for 1 second. That's true. That's true. Side, I'm slightly favoring Haney, but Norman can KO him. And that's the reality. When you're stepping in the ring with somebody like Brian Norman Jr., you understand that one punch can change everything. And you have to plan for that. Ow, I just don't want to see no snooze fest. That's the thing that Devin Haney, if he wins and he's using a lot of footwork, moving around, Brian Norman Jr. is chasing, if he wins that type of fight, you know, people are gonna attack him for it. But a W is a W. It's all gonna go down to that. He's gotta win no matter how he wins. That's what I would say. Superman, it's a lot of people say Haney doing ain't Regis Basura. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm super excited for this weekend, bro. And a lot of people's predicting that Sam Noakes is gonna upset Abdullah Mason. I don't see that upset happening, but that tells you right there it's gonna be a real good fight. It's most likely gonna be a competitive fight. I have seen footage of Sam Noakes. He looks like he can fight, man. He looks like he can really fight. And I see the praises that he's getting from, from other fighters and people who know him, who talk about him. Jason Williams, facts, Superman. Great weekend of boxing. Al, what gyms you trained out of when you was coming up? I only trained in one gym my whole time, Gleason's gym. And, when I was training, I didn't realize how lucky I was to be there. But now when I think about it, it's like, wow, man, I really was in Gleason's gym. Let me put it to you like this, bro. I trained in Gleason's gym in 98, 99. 97, 98, 99. And, no, I think it was 98, 99. And during those years, Zab Judah was maybe 16 and 0, 15 and 0, something like that. And I used to see him every single day. Well, Mondays through Fridays. I used to see him walking in the gym. I used to see him preparing, putting his gear on. I used to see him sparring. I used to talk to him sometimes. He would say, "What's up?" to me. Yo, what's up, Zab? As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys something interesting. I'm going to show you, at least I think this is interesting. You know who was the first person who I ever interviewed for this channel? Zab Judah. If you scroll down and you find the first short video that I ever posted on this channel, it was me and Zab Judah. And why did that happen? And I think it's crazy because I want you to consider this. When I was in the gym, we're talking about back in 98, 99, right? So I used to see Zab Judah every day. He would say, "What's up?" to me. In fact, I got to be sparring. When I'm sparring, that Zab Judah's right there, yo, watching the sparring session and giving me advice. Like, yo, do this, do that, do that. I was like, holy shit, Zab Judah is giving me. And this was right before he became a world champion. When he was on the... In fact, when he became a world champion, I was still at Gleason's gym. So I got to see him when he showed up to the gym the first time after already becoming a world champion. I got to witness that. And remember, 98, 1998, 99, back then. So, how is it possible that in 2023, think about that, 98, 2023, 25 years later, I hit Zab Judah up on DM. Yo, Zab, I don't know if you remember me, bro. It's Jay. I used to train with Maximo, the Dominican trainer. I had the long braids. And he hit me up right back. Yo, what's up, Jay? I remember you. Hell yeah. Like, I couldn't even believe. I was like, man, this nigga's not gonna remember me. We ain't talking over 20 years. I'm not famous. I'm not on TV. So he never saw me again. Once I quit boxing in 99, Zab Judah never saw my face again. Yo, 25 years later, he remembered me. So I say, yo, Zab, man, I'm trying to do this boxing thing, bro. You think you could give me an interview? I want to ask you a few questions. And they were like, hell yeah, yo, I got you. I got you. When we going to do this? And I think the next day, he was already giving me an interview. So my first interview was with Zab Judah, who happened to have remembered me from Gleason's gyms. So salute to Zab Judah, one love. And I'm going to tell you something. Zab is somebody that I'm super grateful for. You know why? Because when I started doing this boxing thing, I would say I was cursing out people a lot more. You know, you guys notice, I might say you a goofball, you a dummy. But before I was a little bit more aggressive with the cursing people out. And Zab Judah hit me up privately. Out of nowhere, I wasn't even expecting it. Zab hit me up privately. Like, yo, Jay, you know your shit. You know what you're doing. But you gotta change this a little bit. You know, so you could level up. So doors could open for you. And he gave me a little pep talk. And that same day, I stopped doing it. Yo, I used to... I have a bunch of videos. One day I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it as a TBT. You know how I used to open the show? Look at the opening for the old show. You dumb motherfuckers. That was how I started the show. Imagine if that's how you start your show. You dumb motherfuckers. And I will go from there. And as soon as Zab hit me up and told me and gave me some advice, I changed everything up. If it wasn't for the advice that Zab gave me, you guys would probably have never heard of me. I probably wouldn't even be here. I probably would have said, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this. Nobody fucking with me anyways. Jason Williams, you'll get a 24-hour break or go to the permanent block party. Superman, that was reckless. I'm telling you, I was going a little bit too crazy. So, yo, I give Zab Judah his flowers, bro. He didn't have to reach out to me. He didn't have to give me advice. He didn't have to show me no love. He didn't have to come on my platform. And he did. Or for the strength of 25, 26 years ago. You got to respect him. And Zab Judah, my peoples, I'm telling you, he not just a great fighter. He a great guy. He a great father to his kids. You know, like, that's the type of person that you just feel lucky to, you know, to say, I'm one of his guys. You see, I might say, yo, nah, that's my guy, that's my guy, that's my guy. When I think of Zab Judah, no, I'm one of his guys. He's not one of my guys, I'm one of his guys. Yeah, like, yeah, no doubt. Brooklyn icon, Brooklyn legend, Zab Judah. Salute. That's my brother right there. Jason William, great advice from Zab, from Super Zab Judah. I'm telling you, Zab Judah was a game changer for me, my peoples. Because I'm telling you, you would have never heard of me. I would have got my YouTube blocked. I would have got my Facebook blocked. And then I would have said, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this. But when he shared those words with me, it turned something on. Because before I felt like, you know what? I got this knowledge. I'm going to talk however I want. You dumb motherfuckers. That's how I was going in. That's how I was doing it. But then, you know, listening to the way that Zab explained it to me, I was like, yeah, I gotta, cause I understood, if you just see me talking shit and you see me cursing people out, you might not sit around long enough to actually listen to me and to know that I'm bringing knowledge to the table. You might think I'm just some troll. And that's something that I don't want. I don't want people to think, this is just some troll looking for views. So when Zab gave me that feedback and I started doing these videos differently, I went back, and it's true, I do look like a troll. And that wasn't my intention. I'm just doing something original, something different. But yeah, I was reckless. Too reckless. JJ said, J. Smith, be better to people, just tell them to get the F out of here. It's easier. Get them out of here. You don't need to waste no more time. Javier Adan, Zab really whooped Floyd ass till he gassed out. Yeah, he was putting hands on Floyd. That's the thing, man. People don't realize how great of a fighter Zab Judah was, man. Like, Zab Judah was something special. Something real special. Jimbo Allen, very knowledgeable about the sport. Appreciate it, my brother. I've been a student of the game, for real, for real. You know, I started watching boxing when I was 11 years old, when Julio Cesar Chavez fought Jermaine Taylor the first time. And what a fight that was. And ever since then, I fell in love with boxing at 11 years old. And my parents wouldn't let me box. When they finally did, I was like 16, 17, something like that. And so I had the opportunity to compete as an amateur boxer. I didn't even know how lucky I was to be in Gleason's gym. You know, I got to be there when it was in Brooklyn. I think it's in Manhattan now. When it was in, I think it is in Brooklyn, but not in the same place. I don't think it's in Front Street anymore. And when I was in that gym, my peoples, it felt like if you was a big name fighter and you came to New York, you had to go to Gleason's. I got to see a lot of people over there, man. I got to see Tito Trinidad, Mike Tyson, Arturo Gatti. The guy that got knocked out by Mike Tyson, that Mike Tyson punched him in the face. What's his name again? What's the big dude with the Jerry curl that Mike Tyson knocked out? I can't remember his name. He used to be up in Gleason's all the time, just training and shit, even after he retired. Jason Williams, Mitch Blood Green. There you go, Mitch Blood Green. I used to see him all the time. Jason Williams, I don't expect you to remember, but I told you I had Zab over Floyd early in their careers, easily. So, I don't remember, but I will say this. Early in their careers, when they were both undefeated, I thought that Zab Judah was going to beat Floyd. I thought that he was going to beat him. And I think if they would have had the same conditioning, like if they both could have kept that heat turned on for the distance, I think Zab Judah would have beat him. I think he would have actually beat him. But that's where Floyd went above and beyond, man, with that conditioning. Wes does it. The J. Smith commentary is educated, respectful, but still spicy. Even the trash talk is healthy. That's how we got to do it. And I evolved into that. I think that's part of it is maturity, but I evolved from that once I got that feedback from Zab Judo. So that's why, man, I'm always give him his flowers, give him his respect. Mitch Blood Green, bro, yeah. I used to see Mitch Green in Gleason's gym all the time. Still with the Jerry curls. Punching the bag and trash talking. Loud as hell. Mitch Green loud as hell. Superman, they say he didn't train properly. Did he train properly or not? Honestly, I'm not sure how he trained for that Mike Tyson fight, because when he fought Mike Tyson, I was like 11 or 12 years old. I don't really remember that fight like that. You know, I remember it from watching footage of it, but from watching it live, I don't really remember it. Why did you stop boxing? Well, I started late. You could still have a good career if you start late. If you start at 16, 17, you could still have a good career. But what I didn't have is the discipline or the support around me to stick with it. I could tell you I was a good boxer, but talent-wise, this is what I envisioned, right? Talent-wise, I could have maybe made it. You know those guys that make it to the champion but never beat the champion? I could have maybe made it to that. You know, I could have maybe been one of these guys who's there but doesn't win. I could have made it to be like, maybe like a mean machine. You know, somebody who, you know, is a good fighter, but he's not going to beat the top dogs. But I was pretty good. Now, why did I get out of boxing? Because when I went to the Golden Gloves, I was too cocky. I was too hyped, too sure that I was going to win. And I lost in the semifinals. Now, if you win in the semifinals, you get to fight in Madison Square Garden for the finals. That's in the New York Daily News Golden Gloves. So I was like, damn, yo, I'm going to win this whole shit. I'm going to have the Golden Glove, blah, blah, blah. Beat my first opponent, beat my second opponent, put the beats on him. And then finally, when I get to the semifinals, I lose. I got outboxed. I was the harder puncher in there, but this guy got ahead on me on the points. And in the last round, the motherfucker just ran the whole time. And I couldn't catch him. He was more advanced than me in footwork. So I understand what it feels like to not be able to cut the ring. I couldn't cut the ring. Sometimes I tried. I could hear in the background my coach yelling to cut the ring. I just couldn't do it. He had way better footwork than me. And I took that L. And I know what it is to lose. I know the feeling that it is. Let me tell you, people, son. I know the feeling that it is to get to a venue and have a lot of people, have your crew from your block, your crew from your city. Whoa, JC. You know, have your peoples. And then when you lose, guess what? You know how I left from the venue? By myself with the trainer. Just me and the trainer in the train, bro. We arrived in a vehicle. I took a loss in the Golden Gloves, in the Golden Glove semifinals, and I left the venue in the train with my trainer. Just me and my trainer in the train. Just sitting there quiet. And that was my last fight. That's it. Unfortunately, after that, I started hanging out. You know, I started drinking, hanging out with girls. Then I started skipping out on the running. When I lost in the Golden Gloves, I was completely out of boxing. Maybe like 2 months later. Done. Because I you know, emotionally, I was cooked. And I didn't have the support. My parents, they didn't want me to box. They didn't like boxing. So it's not like I have parents that's gonna be like, yo, stay with it. Let's take you to the gym. Let's do this. They didn't give a damn about that. And my trainer, look, I haven't said this before. I said it before. A lot of you, or maybe none of you know this. Yo, my trainer, his name is Maximo. You know who he trained at some point? Chris Eubank Sr. My trainer trained Chris Eubank Sr. And I got a picture out somewhere where Eubank Sr.'s winning the fight. Won the fight. They both in the ring. So I had a trainer that was training world caliber fighters. Maximo. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say get into the details because it's kind of messed up. But my trainer got kicked out of Gleason's gym because he knocked out another trainer. Boom! One shot. Boom! Go to sleep. And he got kicked out of Gleason's. He ended up training out of another gym in Manhattan. Jason Williams, Eubank came to America to get better. Eubank spoke on it. I'm trying to tell you. My trainer, Dominican Maximo, he trained Chris Eubank Sr. out here. And I don't know for how many fights he trained him, but I know that he got a W with him in the corner. I don't know how many fights. I can't remember how, very long time ago. So I can tell you, my peoples, if you see from early on watching fights to participating in amateur boxing to then participating in a professional fight to creating content for amateur and professional fighters to being involved with the Boxing Association in my city, throughout my whole life, boxing has been part of it. Where Maximo these days? I think that he's training in Manhattan, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I'm not in touch with him right now. We lost touch, but I think that he's in Manhattan. He's training in Manhattan now. I know that his son is a boxing trainer, but I don't know. I don't have any details. It's just people that know them hit me up like, yo, this guy's training over here. Jason Williams. And by the way, Maximo, yo, I saw him like a second father. And so you could see that I saw him like a second father. A couple of years ago, somebody ran into him in the streets. Ran into him. And called me right there on the spot. Hold on, Maximo. And called me on the spot. Yo, Jay, I got somebody right here. And put Maximo on. And, yo, I was like a little kid. I called him Pops and everything. Yo, what's up, Pops? What's up? And he called me son and all of that. So I got mad. Even though I haven't seen him for mad years, for decades, I got mad love for Maximo. This guy had me training in Gleason's gym. I didn't even know I was training and learning in a historic venue and seeing all these people, all these fighters. So, I had a special time in my boxing career that I didn't even know it was special while it was happening. Sometimes, that's why I tell people, enjoy Terence Crawford. You're witnessing something special. Don't wait till he retired to understand that he's special. A lot of times, you witness special things and you don't realize that you was witnessing something special. Donaldo Gonzalez, Benavidez, or Anthony. Now, I got Benavidez winning that fight. Benavidez winning, I think he's going to go for the knockout. Oh, God damn, these cartoons is loud as hell. Jason Williams, the trainer and boxing relationship got to be on point to build a champion. That's a fact. That is a fact. You need that relationship to be super solid. You need there to be a lot of trust between the two. Listen, man. I'm going to tell you guys something so you can see what type of trainer Maximo is. Damn, yo, what the hell? I'm going to tell you what type of trainer Maximo is, my peoples. I used to run. He used to send his fighters to run at 6 in the morning on Riverbank State Park. Riverbank State Park is in Manhattan, uptown. 136 and Amsterdam and Riverside, right? There's a big track over there, Olympic Pass, and he used to send us to run there. Okay. Mondays through Fridays. Every runner knows you do that in the morning. Yo, I used to go there and I would be running and Maximo would just show up. And he would show up like at 6:15 in the morning just to watch us running. right? He show up, sit in one corner, watch us running, and then when we finish running, he would leave, not even say shit to us. Me and my boy Georgie. By the way, Georgie put me onto boxing. Salute my brother Georgie. So he will go there, watch us running, and then when we finish, we'll be like, yo, Maximo, oh shit, that nigga left. He get up at 5, 7 in the morning just to go watch us run, to go see if we did it. And then sometimes he wouldn't go. Sometimes he wouldn't show up. So guess what? When I first started boxing, he would miss like 2, 3 days, and I'd be like, let me take the day off, man. I'm not gonna run today. Maximo not gonna go. Yo, I would show up to the gym that day, and the first question he would ask me, yo, did you run today? And I'd be like, yeah, I ran. Oh, all right, that's what's up. How many miles you ran? I think I ran like 4 miles. Yeah, 4. Okay. And how fast did you run? And how much time you did the 4 miles? Nah, I did the 4 miles like in 50 minutes. Oh, okay. And at what time did you go running today? I'd be like, nah, I went running like at around. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You didn't go no running shit. You didn't run shit. I was in the track. Don't play games with me. I shall beat your ass. Don't play with me. And I just be stuck looking stupid. Remember, I was 17 years old. I'd be like. So after he caught me lying a couple of times, I really started running every day. That's it. This dude, no nonsense type of trainer. I started running every day. Because he'll curse you out on the spot. But he's slick. Because he wouldn't just say you didn't run. He would ask us, yo, did you run today? And that's it. You know you can't lie. Because you just never know if he was on the track that day. And then here's the funny thing. That I didn't see other trainers doing this, my peoples. Yo, sometimes Maximo would show up to the track. And by the time we got there, he was already running. We will find him running already, right? So we start running. Bro, how the hell this dude was probably already, he had to be in his 50s already. How the hell this dude used to be outrunning us every single time? Every single, you know when you're running on a track, you're doing circles. So if somebody run a lot faster than you, they're going to lap you over and over. Yo, by the time I used to do my 4 miles, that was like the daily dosage, 4 miles. By the time I used to do my 4 miles, Maximo used to lap me like 3 times. Pass me again. Like, this dude could really run, bro. And by the way, Maximo was a pro fighter, too. He was a professional fighter, knocked out a bunch of people and all that. So, this somebody who had the pedigree inside the ring, outside the ring, worked with world champions. And that's who I got the opportunity to learn of, my peoples. I'm mad lucky. So, when you see the boxing knowledge, my boxing knowledge doesn't come from, I read a bunch of books, I watch a lot of TV, I watch a lot of social media. Nah, my people, my boxing knowledge comes from boxing people. From people that was really at the highest level. So I've been lucky. I've been super lucky to have those opportunities. Jason William, if he asking, he already knew the answer. Damn, bro. But when you 16, 17 years old, you're a goofball. You think you're going to lie to the adult. You think you slick and shit. And he over there, oh, damn, that's good. So how many miles you ran? Oh, damn. You killing it today. So I mean, shut the fuck up. You ain't do shit. Yo, used to have me and Georgie looking dumb as hell, bro. My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in to this morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. You already know what it is, man. Without you guys, this show would not be the same. Salute to Superman, Jason William, Al, Donaldo Gonzalez, JJ's in there, has Jason William, Superman, Scott Fernie, and everybody else. Everybody else who tuned in this morning, my peoples. Y'all know what it is. Um, Lance Meyer, my brother, salute. Bam. The Boost Traveler. What up, A. Smith? Salute, my peoples. If those breaking news about Benavidez go public, then I'm probably going to go live again tonight. I may go again tonight live, maybe even at lunchtime, maybe even at 12 o'clock. I may be live again. So you might see me again tonight. But you know what it is. Tomorrow's episode of Boxing for Breakfast, we're going to do what we do, my people. One love to everybody tuning in. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. JJ's in there. I got the spam, eggs, toast, coffee, cheese. Damn, bro. Classic breakfasts. And everybody else, my people, enjoy your breakfast. Enjoy the most important meal of the day. Enjoy your breakfast. If you're on your way to work, take your ass there, do your job, and get back home so we can enjoy the rest of the day. My peoples, I really appreciate every single one of you. Everybody didn't hit the like button. I know some of you ducked the like button, but it's all good. You still tuned in. One love to everybody, my peoples. I'm out of here.